Hello, my excellent student. Welcome to this lesson based on the lesson 2 of our knowledge organizer, the solar system. At the end of this lesson, you'll be able to study the structure of the solar system. But before we start the lesson properly, please pause the video to answer the 5 retrieval questions. Once you've completed all the questions, unpause the video to mark your answers. You have 5 minutes to answer the questions. Pause the video now. Thank you. Now you can mark your answers. What did you score? Well done. Amazing. The main lesson, the solar system. Success criteria. At the end of today's lesson, you should be able to see the structure of the solar system. Our solar system is a tiny part of the Milky Way galaxy. This is a massive collection of billions of stars that are all held together by gravity. The solar system consists of the star and everything bound to it by the gravity. The planets, dwarf planets, dozens of moons, and smaller objects such as millions of asteroids, comets, and meteoroids all make up the solar system. The sun. Did you know that the sun is a star? Yes, the sun is a star at the center of our solar system and is the hottest body in our solar system. The temperature of the sun at the surface is 5,500 degrees Celsius, and in the middle it's 15 million degrees Celsius. The sun is a big ball of hot gas which gives off light and heat. The planets. We have 8 planets in our solar system. These 8 planets are Mercury, which is the closest to the Sun, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. These 8 planets can be grouped into 2 main groups, and these groups are the rocky planets and the gas planets. The rocky planets are Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Earth. And they are called rocky planets because they are made of metals and rocks, and they have a surface, a solid surface. Now, the gas planets are the Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. These gas planets are farther away from the sun and are much larger than the rocky planets. Mercury. Mercury is the planet nearest to the sun. It is the smallest of all the planets. Mercury is dry, hot, and virtually airless. There is no life on Mercury, and Mercury has no moon. The temperature of Mercury is about minus 173 degrees Celsius at night and 427 degrees Celsius during the day. So Mercury can be cold at night and hot during. Venus is the second planet from the Sun. The size of Venus is about 12,104 kilometers wide. The number of moon on Venus is 0, so Venus have got no moon. Venus is the hottest planet at about 480 degrees Celsius. Venus is covered with pale clouds, which makes it difficult to see the surface of the planet. No life can exist on Venus. One day on Venus lasts 243 Earth days. It takes 225 days to orbit the sun. So it takes Venus 225 Earth days to orbit the sun. Venus is called the evening star. So as it is the first star to be seen in the sky at night. The third planet from the sun is the Earth. The Earth is the planet we all live on. There is land and water on the surface of the Earth and air in the atmosphere. The size of the Earth is about 12,756 kilometers wide. The Earth has got one moon, and the temperature is between minus 90 degrees centigrade to 58 degrees Celsius. So Celsius or centigrade is the same thing. So it takes the Earth 365.25 days to orbit the sun. That's 1 year. 1 day on Earth lasts 24 hours, and about 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered in water. The atmosphere on the Earth protects it from the rays of the sun. The fourth planet from the sun is the Mars. The size of the Mars is about 6,794 kilometers wide, and Mars has got 2 moons. It takes Mars about 687 Earth days to orbit the sun. Mars has very little air. It has no water on the surface, and Mars is very cold. And that's the last of the rocky planets. You can pause the video now to differentiate between the 4 rocky planets. The 4 gas planets are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Jupiter. Jupiter is the 5th planet from the Sun. It is the largest planet in the solar system. It has 62 moons, 2 of which are huge. Jupiter has a small ring system, and it takes Jupiter 11.8 Earth years to orbit the Sun. Jupiter is cold. It has a temperature of about minus 148 degrees Celsius, and Jupiter is a giant gas planet. The next planet, the 6th planet, is the Saturn. Saturn is the 6th planet from the Sun, and Saturn is about 9 times the size of the Earth. Saturn has 60 moons, and the temperature of Saturn is about minus 178 degrees Celsius, so very cold. It takes Saturn about 29 Earth years to orbit the Sun. Saturn is known for its distinct, beautiful ring around it. And the 7th planet from the Sun is Uranus. Uranus is 51,118 kilometers wide. Uranus has 27 moons and is super cold. So its temperature is about minus 216 degrees centigrade. It takes Uranus 84 Earth years to orbit the Sun. And Uranus, it has 11 thin rings. And the last of the planet is Neptune. Neptune is the 8th planet from the Sun. The size of Neptune is about 49,528 kilometers wide. The Neptune has 13 moons. Apart from the 8 planets that orbit the Sun, there are other things that can be found in our solar system, such as the dwarf planets, the asteroids, the comets, the moon, the meteors and meteorites as well. Now, the dwarf planets before 2006 were classified as planets, but in 2006 they were reclassified as dwarf planets. That's because they are planet-like objects that orbit the stars but do not meet all of the rules for being a planet. The asteroids. The asteroids are small objects which are made of metals and rocky materials. So actually they are fragments of leftovers from the beginning of our solar system. The comets are like the asteroids, but are made of rocky materials, dust and ice. The metals and meteorites. These are shooting stars and are actually bits of debris that fall through our atmosphere. The moon. The moon is a satellite that orbits the planets. The Earth, for instance, has got one moon, while Saturn has got 60 moons. But we'll discuss the moon in detail next lesson. You can pause the video now to differentiate between the 8 planets and the dwarf planets. You can use the table to help you differentiate. Then once you finish your differentiation, please answer all the questions on the learning journal. Thank you for listening.